7 years of abundance are coming, followed by 7 years of famine. We must store the grain now.
We're about to dive into a story that has echoed through the ages, a truly timeless journey of betrayal, unbelievable resilience, and ultimately incredible purpose. This is the path from the pit to the palace. This is the story of Joseph. But before we get into all the details, I want to ask you something. Just think about this. What if your lowest moment, the most difficult, painful, unjust experience you've ever had, wasn't actually the end of your story, but the setup for your greatest breakthrough? Just let that thought sit with you as we begin. So, let's meet our main character, a young man who, seemingly had it all, but whose greatest gifts would, ironically, set him on a path to losing absolutely everything he held dear. So this is Joseph. He's the favorite son of his father, Jacob, who gives him this stunning, colorful coat. Now, this isn't just a piece of clothing. It's like a walking, talking symbol of his father's love, and it sets him apart from all his older brothers. And if that wasn't enough, Joseph starts having these incredibly vivid dreams, divine premonitions, he thinks, where his entire family, even his parents, are bowing down to him. And he shares them, maybe a little naively, and wow, the reaction is immediate. That coat, combined with these dreams, doesn't inspire his brothers. No, it fuels a deep and a very dangerous jealousy. And then, one day, all that jealousy just explodes. They're out in the fields, far from anyone who could help, and his brothers see their chance. And what's the first thing they do? They rip that symbol of his father's favor right off his back. But just stripping him of the coat, that's not enough. They grab him, and they throw him into an empty pit. Can you just imagine the sudden darkness, the cold, the absolute terror and confusion of being betrayed by your own family? And then comes the final, unthinkable act. Instead of just leaving him there, they see a caravan of merchants passing by, and they sell their own brother for a handful of silver. In one single afternoon, Joseph loses his family, his identity, his entire future. He's now property, a slave on his way to the foreign land of Egypt. So, you have to ask yourself, what happens when your whole world just completely falls apart? Well, Joseph's response in this next chapter is what truly defines his character. So he gets to Egypt and he's sold to a man named Potiphar, a high-ranking official. And even here, as a slave, Joseph just refuses to be broken. He works with such integrity, such excellence, that he earns his master's complete trust and ends up running the entire household. But just when it seems like things are turning around, another betrayal. He's falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, and with no trial, no justice, he's thrown into a dungeon. From the pit to an even lower low, the prison. And this right here, this is the real test. And we're not talking about a short stay. We're talking about years passing in that prison. He even helps a fellow prisoner by interpreting his dream, a guy who promises, "I'll remember you when I get out." But he forgets. Days bleed into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. Joseph is completely forgotten by the world, left alone to wonder if his life has any meaning left at all. But just when all hope seems lost, the story takes its most incredible, traumatic turn. This is the moment where everything changes, going from the deepest darkness into the most brilliant light. It all starts at the very top. The most powerful man in the world, the Pharaoh of Egypt, is being tormented by these dreams that none of his wise men can figure out. The entire kingdom is on edge. And then, a little flicker of a memory. That prisoner Joseph helped all those years ago, he finally remembers. He remembers the Hebrew man back in the dungeon who could interpret dreams. And the climb is just breathtakingly fast. In a single day, Joseph is pulled out of the dungeon. He stands before Pharaoh and, giving all the credit to God, he explains the dreams. There will be 7 years of incredible abundance, followed by 7 years of a devastating famine. Well, Pharaoh is so stunned by his wisdom that he does the unimaginable. He makes this forgotten prisoner the second most powerful man in the entire kingdom, from the pit to the palace, in a single moment. But you see, Joseph's rise to power, that's not even the end of the story. No, that's just the setup for the most powerful moment of all, the ultimate test of his character. Just like Joseph predicted, the famine hits, and it is devastating. People from all over the region start coming to Egypt for grain. And who shows up among them? His very own brothers, the ones who sold him into slavery. And they bow before him, just like in his childhood dream. But they have no idea who he is.
And this brings us to the climax of the whole story. He holds their lives in his hands. I mean, really think about that. After all the years of suffering they caused him, he has the absolute power to get revenge. Justice or mercy? What would you do?
After putting them through a few tests, Joseph finally reveals who he is. And as they stand there, terrified, he speaks one of the most powerful lines ever uttered. He says, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." He saw the bigger picture. He understood that every ounce of his pain had been woven into a plan to save them and countless others. And that is the ultimate takeaway. This is why this ancient story still matters so much to us today. Joseph's journey is this incredible testament that our deepest wounds, our most painful setbacks, they don't have to be the final chapter. They can be the very soil where our purpose begins to grow.
So I want to leave you with this thought. It doesn't matter where you find yourself right now, whether you feel like you're in a pit or trapped in a prison or maybe just in a long, silent season of waiting. Remember this, your story is not over. The only question left is, what is it preparing you for?
Thanks for watching.
Stay blessed and don't forget to share this video with everyone.